Jananim Saradam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shrutva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. Please sit erect, close your eyes and let your limbs loosen free and try to concentrate on the pure inner being and take your hand from your chin and sit in a comfortable position. I will chant Om, and after 5 minutes I will chant Om again. Please try to maintain silence. And in the second Om, please open your eyes. So we were studying the Gita, Bhagavad Gita, and we had last week studied the first verse or shloka of the Bhagavad Gita, first chapter. I would like to remind you of certain points of Bhagavad Gita. First, that it was told in a battlefield, in a field of action. That was one meaning of the word Kurukshetra, a field of action. So, it is understood, it should be understood as a text to be used as a manual for life. That is the first thing we should understand. Second thing is the title, the Gita for all, is because this text is supposed to be used by everyone, irrespective of whatever religious belief you have, or whether you have any belief at all, irrespective of whatever nationality you belong to, or irrespective of gender. And the third thing, very important thing we should understand again here, particularly in the context of the first chapter of Bhagavad Gita, is that Bhagavad Gita, as it comes in Mahabharata, is a recapitulation of what happened in the battlefield by Sanjaya. Sanjaya is doing a kind of flashback of what happened already in the battlefield, the conversation between Arjuna and Sri Krishna, and when does it happen, where in Mahabharata does this incident take place, after the falling down of Bhishma. Till then, Dhritarashtra was very confident that my children, Kauravas, 100 of them, will take care of these Pandavas. Because they have the backing of great people like Bhishma. But when Bhishma was put down, Dhritarashtra started worrying, and it was then that he asked the question.
So Dhritarashtra could know that Krishna has fallen before Sanjay started speaking.
Obviously, because this place in Mahabharata, before this recapitulation of Gita takes place, Sanjaya enters the court where Dhritarashtra is sitting and others are also sitting, and Dhritarashtra asks, "You are coming from the battlefield, please tell me what happened." And there Sanjaya tells that Bhishma has been put down. And then comes Bhagavad Gita. So I will request those of you who can, it is there in the Google, it is there. There are various texts of Mahabharata in the internet. So you can go and search and find out for yourself where this appears. Why is it important? It is important because only when we are shaken, we take recourse to an external reference. Only when you don't believe your doctor, you go for a second opinion. Only when you don't believe your lawyer, you go for a second opinion. Only when your belief system is shaken that you start questioning things. Only when you think that the permanence of the world as you have imagined it to be is not so permanent that you start thinking of other things or philosophy. It is very important. When does the question why come in your life? Most of the times we are with the question how. Swami Vivekananda says it, how is a question for the babies. How to eat, how to drive, etc. It's a question of the babies. And what is the philosopher's question? Why? It should also be the scientist's question. Why? Why does this happen? And when does that question come? Only when you are shaken with the established belief systems which you have. Then you have this question why. So Dhritarashtra had no problem till then. The moment he came to know Bhishma has fallen down, he immediately is concerned. Said, what happened? Kim akurvata? Now the question in his mind is, why did Bhishma fall down? Bhishma is a great warrior. How did he fail? I have made this great software. How did it go wrong? So immediately this question comes and he asks, Kim akurvata Sanjay? What did my beautiful children do? Because he knows that his children are worthless. But still, he is asking the question, Kim akurvata mamakaha pandavas chaiva? What did my children and Pandavas do? So this is a very important question. So Gita has to be seen from an angle, from a perspective, which will give us tools. I'm not talking about philosophy. I'm not talking about some kind of spiritual practice. I'm telling you concrete tools, because we are good in copy pasting. We can simply copy paste and put it into application in our lives. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. So this is one thing. First shloka has got so many insights. Now we go to the second verse. What is that? Drishtva. Now I will chant, you please follow after me. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhanastada Acharyam Upasangamya Raja Vachanam Abravit. So the meaning is this: Drishtva, having seen, tu, indeed. That is the meaning of the word tu. Pandava Anikam. Pandava means Pandavas. Anikam, is the army of Pandavas. Vyudham. Vyudham is the formation, battle formation, army formation. Duryodhana tada. So Duryodhana tada then saw the battle formation of the army of Pandavas, Acharyam towards the Acharya. That is, who is the Acharya here? Dronacharya, who was the teacher of both Pandavas and Kauravas. Upasangamya, going near him, having gone near him, Raja. So Raja is Duryodhana here. Vachanam, words or sentence, Abravit, said. Abravit means in past tense. This is the meaning. But Sanskrit is a very beautiful language, and as most of the classical languages are, and so many meanings can be hidden in the seemingly innocent words. So sometimes some person tells you, "Aap to bade intelligent ho." So most of the time in this tonation, "Aap to bade intelligent ho." So sometimes it means that you are a fool. Most of the times it means you are a fool. Like it's a ridicule. So we know that Shakespeare has used it, we know Kalidasa has used it, we know so many people have used it, and we also know that maybe in some films Salman Khan's dialogue also contains this kind of ridicule. So this is a figure of speech which has been used for ages. Sanskrit, we see so many things. Now what does it appear? These two lines, they look very innocent. What happened? Duryodhana saw the battle formation of Pandava army and went to Dronacharya and just told something. But no, there has got deeper meaning. What is the meaning? First of all, I go back to the first shloka. Kim akurvata Sanjaya. What did my children and Pandavas do? Now this concern of Dhritarashtra is because of only one reason. He is not worried about anything else. He is not worried about dharma, that is righteousness, what is correct or what is wrong. He is not worried about adharma, unrighteousness. He is not worried about that. He is worried only about whether his sons will win the war. That is this only question. How do we know this? So in Mahabharata we know after the war was all finished, Kauravas were defeated and Bhima was to meet Bhishma. I mean, this is the courtesy or respect, call it whatever you want. So he wanted to go and meet, not Bhishma, sorry, Dhritarashtra. Bhima wanted to meet Dhritarashtra because he is after all his uncle, and he went and met him. But before that, Sri Krishna, who has practically conducted the entire Mahabharata, whole story is he is the director, producer, script writer, etc. So what did he do? He had already got prepared a Bhima, exact height, etc. of Bhima in iron. Iron murti or statue of Bhima. Why exact height, etc.? Because you see, Dhritarashtra was blind. And blind people, generally it is seen that people who do not have one particular sense organ working properly have all other sense organs very sharp. So this Dhritarashtra, who was blind, he had all other sense organs very sharp, so he could understand the height and weight and everything. So it was made exactly like Bhima. And then when Bhima went to meet Dhritarashtra, this iron statue or iron replica of Bhima was put in front of Dhritarashtra. And what happened? Dhritarashtra embraced it and made it what? Powder. The whole iron statue, and it was not hollow, it was filled iron statue, full iron, solid. He made it what? Powder. So all his energy he showed it there because he wanted to take revenge, and there was no way Dhritarashtra could fight a battle with Bhima. So he was waiting for this opportunity, and he said, "Yes, now you have come, my son," etc. And nicely he embraced, and like iron grip, he made this iron into powder. And then Krishna says, thank you very much, I am also standing besides you, and that was only an iron Bhima, original Bhima is there. So now he cannot again embrace, because in front of Bhima he has embraced, so now he has, uski, in Hindi we say, pole khul gayi. Now the cat is out of the bag, so Bhima now knows what Dhritarashtra can do if I go near him. And also Sri Krishna is also there. So you see, Dhritarashtra's only one aim was that his sons should win the war. He was not interested in any other thing, because this incident proves that. So why did he ask? He was asking because he was sure of one thing, that is, my sons are not doing correct things. My sons are not righteous. He was clear about that. In fact, there are many occasions when he says, I know that what my sons are doing is wrong, but I can't help myself because they are my sons. That attachment I cannot give up. So, in fact, today I was discussing something else elsewhere in this institution, and then one very interesting idea came up. We all say, what attachment, what attachment? Just a thing to ponder or think, that we have seen many times. In fact, many doctors, almost all doctors have seen at least once in their lifetime, that a patient, even most of us have seen, that a patient who is about to die does not die and waits to meet some son or daughter or somebody. And it is a very common occurrence. You would have all witnessed it, almost all of you would have witnessed it or heard of it, that somebody who is dying is waiting for someone to come from San Francisco or some other place. And only when that person comes and that person dies. So this is attachment, which does not allow you even to give up your life. No? This kind of attachment. So that attachment is very much true. Even physically it has got a dimension. So he knew that my sons are not righteous. And that is why he was afraid. He was thinking that though my sons are not righteous, though my sons are not doing correct things, but if I give them good army, if I give them the support of good, or as we say, give them good support system, then my sons can conquer anybody in this world. That was his thinking. Now he is rethinking that probably that is not possible. So because my sons did something wrong, they have to pay for it. That is one question. Second question, very important, is the moment Bhishma fell down, now Dhritarashtra is afraid. Afraid for whom? For his children. And also there is a correlate to that, there is a hidden thing to that. Dhritarashtra was enjoying all the benefits of being the father of people who are in power. So he was the king in one way. So the moment Kauravas will be conquered or they will be defeated, he loses these privileges. So when somebody says that I am bothered only about my children, I don't want anything about for me, on the face of it, it may sound very unselfish, but that has got a lot of selfishness to it, because the moment somebody comes and tells you that this your child has done so much nicely, this child has got that, this, so what is being inflated is your ego. Who is liking that? You are liking that. And at the end of the day, whose child is that? Your child it is. So you see, you will get all the credit. So that is why people want to say that, oh, my child, my child, my child. And that is why sometimes, we have this wonderful idea of Tyajaputra, or somebody who has relinquished the parent. So, means they say that I am no more your father or no more your mother. Why? Because you have done something so heinous, something so bad, that I can never, no more be taking pride in calling myself your parent. In fact, calling myself your parent will be an insult to me. So that is why I give up. So that concept is there. So see, here two things are there. One is fear, another thing is that, oh, because my sons did something wrong, that is why now they have got this kind of consequence that Bhishma has fallen down. Nice. So now this word tu, indeed, it has got more than one meaning. First meaning is indeed. So you see, what is the shloka? Drishtva tu, having indeed or having seen indeed, Drishtva tu, Pandava Anikam, means the army formation, army of Pandavas. So why tu? Indeed. Why? Here indeed means what? Definitely somebody sees. Suppose you see me, I see you. What is there so much to stress? Yes, मैंने देखा है. Nothing like that. It is not in that sense. What is that sense? The idea is Pandavas have got nothing to fear. Pandavas have got nothing to fear. Why? Because they are correct. They are right. Righteousness is on their side. Or in other words, dharma is on their side, which is something which is constantly repeated throughout Mahabharata. The dharma is on the side of Pandavas. Righteousness is on the side of Pandavas. So Pandavas have nothing to fear. And also, if you read the shloka with the already existing knowledge that Bhishma has been put down, then you can read another meaning saying Pandavas have nothing to fear because Bhishma has been put down. So what does it say here is that if you are right, if you have an ideal, if you go on the proper path, you have nothing to fear. The same idea or sentiment has been repeated again and again several times in the Bhagavad Gita. Swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even if you follow a little bit of righteousness, you are freed from great fear. Trayate mahato bhayat. So you see, this is the tool. If I am on the right path, what will happen? I have no fear. I have no fear, nothing to fear. So first of all, you don't need to have great memory also. That is the practical thing I have seen. If you tell truth, you don't need to have great memory, because you need to remember only one thing. Otherwise, you tell your girlfriend one thing, you tell your professor another thing, you tell your parents another thing. You have to remember so many things, and then you have to constantly remember. This is one method to ensure memory power, is that don't have a lot to remember in the first place. Just have little to remember by telling truth and keeping things simple. And the second method is very dangerous method, but I have heard it is quite effective. And what is that? And forget the birthday of your husband or wife or girlfriend or boyfriend. Of course, it works better if it is girlfriend and wife, but anyway. So you forget the birthday and then you will never forget anything in your life. So now you see, here tu means there is no fear for Pandavas, and it also means that there is fear in Duryodhana. Duryodhana is afraid. Why is he afraid? How do we know he is afraid? Now you see, having seen the battle formation, he is also having an army which is bigger than the army of Pandavas. That is the beauty. The army of Kauravas is much bigger in size, in variety, in valor, in their professional experience. Because many people in Pandavas' army have no experience, but the army of Kauravas is well experienced. Many of them are teachers, professors, etc. So, but even though he has such an army, which is also standing in a battle formation, Duryodhana goes to his teacher, Dronacharya, after seeing the army in front of him. Why? Why? Because he has fear. He has fear. He sees this army and he gets afraid, though he has got a huge army. Now that is what in Hindi we call, what do we call? What do we call it in Hindi? We call it Huh? Previous one? Okay. Yeah, that we call, next. That we call it in Hindi, chor ki dadi mein tinka. There is a proverb like that. Means a person who does mistake is always having this idea. Chor ki dadi mein tinka. He always has this guilty feeling that I have done something wrong, etc. In fact, a lot of literature has been written in this subject, and this is a huge thing in a field called criminal psychology. So what is the problem of a criminal? The problem of the criminal is not so much the crime itself, but the psychology behind the crime. A person commits murder, and then the person thinks that I am guilty. Of course the person is guilty, but the feeling of being guilty is more complex, and that creates problem, and that leads to so many psychological disorders. So here, though Duryodhana has got a bigger army, though Duryodhana has got a more experienced army, just because Duryodhana is not following the correct path, he has fear, and Pandavas who are following correct path have no fear. Now, why do Pandavas don't have fear? Because they are fighting under Krishna's guidance, and they are very simple because they know that they cannot do anything against the big army of Duryodhana or Kauravas, so say they have given some completely surrendered to Krishna. So that is why there is no fear. Now here, this tu also means a complaint. As we will see in the first chapter afterwards, Arjuna is afraid of fighting this war. And Arjuna does not want to start the war even now because he is so afraid. So for that he gives lot of logic why this war should not be fought. And one logic is that these people whom we are going to kill are very horrible people. Like in our ordinary language also we say that कीचड़ में हाथ दोगे तो हाथ ही गंदा होगा. Like if you put your hands in dirty water or mud, your hand will become dirty. So all these people are bad people, so let them be like that. You be away from them and don't get into their matters. That is the general common sense, but very nonsensical common sense. Because the idea is let criminals, dons, robbers, etc. be like that. We should not do anything to them because then we will also get into dirty business, so we should not do any dirty business. Believe me, if this logic were to be followed, the whole city would be stinking, because then there should be no sewerage, there should be no cleaning, there should be no waste disposable or waste management system, nothing, because this is all dirty business. It is because of people who want to do and do dirty business that the other people who do not want to or are not willing to do dirty business have a very neat life. See, there are behind every person who is supposedly having a very clean life, there are so many people who are taking care of. Just like some great leader, whom I am not going to name here, had a habit, and to keep that habit, the entire Indian government had to spend lakhs and lakhs of money, and so much that somebody commented that behind this person's austerity, government has to spend thousands of money. A long time back. So the 10,000 itself was today's crores. So what I am telling you is, this whole idea of dirty thing, that is being quoted by Arjuna. He is telling that all these people are what is called in Sanskrit as atataina. Who are atatainas? A person who kills a cow, a person who robs another's house, a person who takes away the wife of somebody else, etc., etc. There are 5 criteria. So by that criteria, most of our statesmen are all atatainas. So anyway, but this also Duryodhana, everybody are atatain. So if you kill them, you also will be horrible. So please don't kill them. So today also we find the relevant thing. Somebody has come into your country and wanted to bomb you, but somebody will immediately come. Some human rights activists will come and say, oh, please don't hang them. Why? Because so brotherly feeling. No, this is brotherly feeling. What is the brotherly feeling? That no, that person is a human being, he has right or she has rights. But one thing is, when the person was going to bomb, this lady, or most of the times it is some lady. So this lady was living in some AC compartment somewhere, in some posh quarters. And now this person is coming and telling human rights activists don't kill. So similarly our Arjuna suddenly becomes a human rights activist and says, no, they are all condemned. You see, don't see. That person is a guilty person and he has got this guilty feeling. He is suffering from this guilty complex. So please don't kill him and confuse him or complicate things further. So we should all condone this punishment. So this is something very hopelessly hopeless ideology. It is one thing if a person who is convicted is in the jail for 20 years and life imprisonment is only 14 years. That is a different matter altogether. But you say that somebody has done something and we should not give capital punishment, we should not give this, we should not give that. Most of the times people who talk of such thing are people who are totally unconcerned or dissociated with the people who are victims. A person who is a victim, similarly you see we talk about so much of communal harmony and all. It is my experience that when we interact with people who were victims of partition of any religion, for them it is difficult to even think of communal harmony. Why? Because they have seen people being cut mercilessly. Their thinking against communal harmony is wrong, because that will not do us any good. But why are they thinking like that? Because they have seen people suffering. So the moment you suffer, the moment World War II victims who were put in concentration camps, when they came out, they had nowhere to go to, nobody to go to. So for them the suffering was real. So there, like Swami Vivekananda, when his father was dead and he was sitting in one park and he was thinking how to get the next day meal for his family, and then his friend comes and he is chanting some high philosophy poem. Probably if his father was alive, he used to take part in such kind of poem recitation, etc. But then at that moment he says, I don't want this kind of philosophy, I want something concrete which will give me bread. This is the existential crisis. What is the problem today is not about philosophy. We have enough philosophy. Problem is, will I get peace of mind? My mind is in pieces. Will I get peace of mind? That is the problem. So that kind of solution is being offered by Arjuna, saying that I should not kill. And two, he says as an allegation that why should we have this war? That is another meaning of the word two. Now, it was told by Sanjaya. So Sanjaya is expressing the allegation of Arjuna. No. In a hidden manner, he is expressing the anxiety or allegation of Arjuna. Now, Pandavas have no visible cause of fear. They have nothing to fear. Why? Because Krishna is there and they, as I told, now you understand that Bhishma has already gone down, so you know that they have nothing to fear. Now, but Pandavas, though they have nothing to fear, this first chapter is about the underperformance of Arjuna, and Arjuna is now afraid. So here, Pandavas have no fear. It is being told that first of all there is nothing to fear, and whatever little fear was there in Arjuna's mind also was removed by Krishna. By his teachings. So all the other Pandavas and the whole army of Pandavas became happy. They started rejoicing. Because you see, they have all come to fight the war. And suddenly it is like going for T20 and seeing weather is bad, and now suddenly 10 hours come ho jayega, hai to 20 hours to 10 come ho jayega, like that. Some kind of situation. Everybody is so passionate. No, they are resolute on fighting the war. And suddenly Arjuna is going and having a secret meeting with Krishna, saying that how to put off the war. So, for Pandavas there was nothing to fear in the first place. whatever little confusion Arjuna created, that also was dispelled by Krishna. So they have nothing to fear, and that is why this rejoicing or happiness on the part of Pandava army. Now here again another thing is that Dhritarashtra is blind. We all know that he physically is blind because of some wonderful story we find in the Mahabharata. Anyway, we don't go into the genetics and all the biology of this, but anyway, he was blind. But the traditional teachers say that he was not only blind physically, he was also emotionally blind. He was also emotionally blind. So when are you emotionally blind? I will tell you one incident. Long back in the city of Mumbai, a doctor was performing a post-mortem. So the doctor's job was to perform post-mortems, government doctor. So one day he came across, before that he was driving a vehicle and he was little, spiritual. I mean, spirit had gone inside him. So he had drunk. And so he was driving the vehicle, car, and sometimes this police force gets sudden spirit of checking all the vehicles, and most of the times it's for nothing and they want some extra income. So they will stop all the vehicles and they will see. The other day while I was going back to Kolkata, the police people, they stopped the vehicle and say, "You must seal nahi." So the owner has given a power of attorney to the driver and usme seal nahi hai. Some wonderful logic they will bring out to get some 200-300 rupees. Anyway, so like that some person was doing, and he was a great police officer, means very high rank police officer. So sometimes they also take part in such activities. He was there, and then he stopped this doctor who was very prestigious doctor, and he started calling him names. मैंने गाली देना शुरू कर दिया. And for this doctor who was with his wife and all, it was very insulting. What happened? After some time, some months, this very police officer met with an accident, and his dead body was sent to this very doctor for post-mortem. Now, of course, he knew the identity. The moment he saw, he could understand. So all the forms all are there before post-mortem. So he saw the photograph, he would understood. And then what happened? Then when he cut the post-mortem, when he did, actually, I don't know, but I don't think there are, once they cut and they do it very savagely, they just dump everything inside and simply seal it or stitch it. They don't do it very cosmetically anyway, because they know nobody will open it and see. So he cut the intestines and started like a chain, swirling it like this, and said, "Maar diya." मुझको उस दिन बता रहा था मेरे को, तो आज दिखा दिया. So now who is under whom? Like that. So this is emotional blindness. See, this is very common among, should we call them, I don't know, medical people or healthcare professionals, whatever the name may be. They become kind of, they become immune to pain. So I myself seen a doctor is there and a patient is waiting. In fact, not the patient, mother of patient is waiting with the patient in her hands, arms, small child with fever. And the person is saying, "Abhi nahi hoga, jao." So you see, there is no empathy, there is no sympathy. Because constantly seeing this from a person, the patient becomes just a case. Case. That is a case. तो कितने केस हैं? हाँ, ओपीडी कितना केस हुआ? हाँ, inpatient कितना केस हुआ? OT कितना केस है? This is the idea. So they suddenly from a person, that patient becomes a case. Because constantly seeing, they become immune to the whole idea of pain and suffering. So emotionally blind. Here what has happened? Here Dhritarashtra has become emotionally blind to Pandavas. He has become emotionally blind also to Kauravas, because he has forgot who is correct, who is wrong. And he has become empathetically blind. What is empathy? One is sympathy. You see a beggar and say, "Kuch khane ko nahi hai, thoda paisa de do." That is one way of looking at things. Another way is, better still, empathy. You feel the pain of the beggar. You feel the pain of the destitute, underprivileged. And you do something to reduce the pain, not just because you want to show off that you can give. And there, in empathy, you are not in a higher position from the person whom you serve, but you are on the same level. You actually can identify with the pain and suffering. That Dhritarashtra lost. There is no empathy. Because he doesn't see Pandavas as the sufferers. Actually, Pandavas are the sufferers. But he doesn't see Pandava as a sufferer. In real life context, what happens? When you are in a debate means not in a debating competition, but when you are actually arguing with somebody, you lose sight of logic. Then the only goal you have, only aim you have is how to defeat the other person. Then you forget what is logical, what is correct, what is wrong. So that time, at that very moment, you become emotionally, empathetically blind. So Dhritarashtra was not just blind physically, he was both emotionally and empathetically blind. And his only love was for son. That was a great blindness. And we saw this word Sanjaya means a person who is full of righteousness. Now, Sanjaya, the moment Dhritarashtra asked him the question, Kim akurvata Sanjaya, what did my sons do and what did Pandavas do? Immediately Sanjaya, because he was a good person, he was a person of good character, he could understand the hidden meaning of what Dhritarashtra was wanting to say. What was the hidden intention? So the hidden intention was very simple. Were my children afraid of Pandavas? Were my children afraid of the enemy army, that is Pandavas? That was the question. So Krishna says that those people who are correct, they will always win. Did it actually happen? Did my children actually become afraid because of Pandavas? And that is why, because Sanjaya understood this hidden question, he is answering by telling that yes, upon seeing the army formation of Pandavas, Duryodhana got afraid and he went to his teacher that Abhi mujhe bachao, please protect me. So how did Sanjaya immediately understand that what was the actual aim of the question of Dhritarashtra? How did he understand? There are three types of students. One student is, you have to say constantly to that student your instructions, and then the student will listen and then will not do it. That is the worst kind of student. And second type of student is, if you tell the student will listen and do it. That is the second. And what is the best type of student? The best type is, even before you say, the student will do it. What we say, proactive, initiative, etc., etc. So the student will understand that this is what is now to be done. This is what now I have to do. So similarly here Sanjaya knew what is the fear or hidden question of Dhritarashtra, and immediately he said, yes, you are correct. That Dhritarashtra, he told that yes, Duryodhana asked the question. Now that is why Sanjaya immediately starts not by telling about Pandavas. He is telling about Duryodhana. He is not talking about Pandavas because he understood Dhritarashtra is not worried about Pandavas. So in a manner of consoling Dhritarashtra, Sanjaya is talking about Duryodhana. And here is what comes the fear of the wrongdoer. It is interesting. In criminology, that is another branch of study. What is criminology? The study of methods of crime, patterns of crime is called criminology, and the criminal, of course. In criminology and also in the law of evidence, it is interesting, how do you catch a criminal, particularly in a murder case? How do you catch a criminal? Very simple. Constantly monitor the scene of crime. Constantly monitor. It is one of the very basic things a police force is supposed to do. Constantly monitor the scene of crime. So if you have watched all Hollywood movies, you will see that once a murder takes place, there are two people sitting in a car very distant away from that scene of crime. I don't know whether in reality it happens, but of course in Hollywood movies, with all the money they have, it happens. So there somebody are sitting like that and putting in a different, not in uniform, and they are sitting and seeing who comes to the house and all. But it is true. Almost 95% of the times, the crime scene gets the criminal again. The criminal again comes and sees what is happening in the crime scene. Curiosity. Curiosity and also guilty consciousness. So, there is a wonderful book by this name, Crime and Punishment. How many of you have read it? Oh. So this Dostoevsky is a wonderful Russian writer, and only one person has read. So all of you should read this book. And when I, of course after becoming a brahmachari, I read this book, and one senior brahmachari warned me, don't read this book in the night time because you will not be able to keep it. So always you think that you have got more mental control than people think. So I said, oh, Maharaj doesn't know, I am such a great person. So I said, okay, I will take up. And what happened? I started reading the book at 10:30 or something in the night, and I had to finish it in 4 in the morning. Means I could not keep the book down. It is, in one word, unputdownable. Wonderful book, Crime and Punishment. It is all about how a person commits a crime and keeps on coming back to the scene of crime and finally gets caught himself. Means had he not gone there, he would not have got caught. And it is his curiosity which gets him caught. So you see, this is a criminal psychology. That person wants to go on, again and again go. So Duryodhana also, he goes to, he goes to, Dronacharya, and he asks Dronacharya now what to do. Now here in this shloka we found vachanam. One word came, vachanam. Vachanam means some sentence or some speech. But here the specific meaning is not ordinary speech, earlier, but words with meaning. Words with meaning. So there are so many words we speak without any meaning. Particularly in the domain of relationships, it happens all the time. So somebody says, "Tu itna kharab hai, main tujse baat nahi karungi, main tumse baat nahi karunga," etc., etc., etc. And the next day you see both of them in CCD. So why? Because they are not. They say, no, that was in gusse mein bol diya. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't mean anything. Okay. Both of them meant nothing. So the speech, words, so many words, but without any meaning. No. But sound and fury signifying nothing. So, like that. So much of sound and fury has no meaning, no sense. So words with meaning. But here, vachanam means word, not only just word, which has got an implied meaning. Implied meaning. And another important thing is pregnant with meaning. So you can, this vachanam, you can analyze this again and again. So a person goes to you, this happens many times in real life. A person says, okay, I will talk to you later. Or as we see in interview, they say, yes, we will inform you later. That means you're not selected. So inform you later has got a different meaning. They say, yes, we will communicate to you, we will correspond to you, we will contact you. All this means that you have not got selected. So like that, there are so many hidden messages people give. Yes, oh, yeah, okay. Okay means I am not okay. So like that, oh yeah, it is very interesting. That means you are totally a fool. So this kind of, in fact, there are dictionaries also which will give you this hidden meaning. In internet also some emails keep on going around that this means this. And particularly that when a man says this, it means this. When a woman says this, it means this. Like that. It's also gender-based dictionaries also there. So every word is pregnant with meaning, and that meaning has to be analyzed. Here when it is told, Raja Vachanam Abravit, Gita does not. There are 18 chapters in Gita, 701 shlokas. Why did not Gita or Vyasa, it comes in Mahabharata, which was written by Vyasa. Why did not Vyasa simply write what Duryodhana said and avoid all the suspense and mystery? But no, he said Vachanam. Vachanam means he told something. So what he told we don't know. Why? Because that conveys the inherent meaning or implied meaning of fear. It can convey that he says that please protect me. It can convey that he says that what will happen to us? We have all done so many mistakes. Now we are in war, and there as a charioteer Krishna is sitting. So I don't know what tricks he is going to have, because Krishna is shown as a person who has got always tricks, no? Like in cards, you have this trump card. So whenever everything is going wrong, you show the card and you win the game, kind of. So I don't know, so please rescue. Or is there anything which you have not taught us? So you see, Duryodhana, next, before that. So Duryodhana goes to Dronacharya. Who is Dronacharya? Dronacharya is the person who is a master in what? Archery. Dhanurvidya, archery, arrows, bows, etc. So now he is going to him with a question that is there anything you have not taught me? Is there anything secret, some missile or something which I don't know? So please give me, this is the time. There I am reminded of a story. There was this Kushti ka guru, no? Kushti is taught. So this wrestling guru was there and his disciple. So the disciple started winning all championships, and finally he thought, somebody told him, this disciple also had further disciples. So one disciple told him that, Guruji, if you can defeat your own Guruji, then you will become great. So that is nothing like that. So you have a wrestling match with your Guruji, Kushti. You have, and you defeat him. So now this Guruji had nobody but one young daughter. Now the daughter was there, and this fellow came to the house and challenged Guruji that tomorrow you come to this particular field and we will have a wrestling match. So Guruji has now become old and he has taught everything to the disciple. So he said, now I don't have so much power in my body. Now what will happen? So the daughter was intelligent. She told some secret, and then the Guruji went the next day with what? A great kadai. You have seen kadai, no? Kadai, this in which that all halwai, that jalebi and all they make, big vessel. And that spoon, no? Kunti or whatever it is called, that big spoon with which they make jalebi and all. Both these things he took and went. Kadai and this. So that fellow brought gada and all that. Now he was looking like Gadha. That what is this? He has brought kadai, some utensils he has brought. So he is laughing and saying, Guruji, what is this? You have forgotten all wrestling and now you have started cooking. What have you brought? So what did Guruji do? He smiled like this. Do you think I have taught you everything? So the disciple got afraid. He did pranam and said, no, I have done a mistake. So this was the trick which was told by the daughter. So similarly here, Duryodhana is coming to Dronacharya and saying that, have you missed any trick which you have not taught me? If you have, then this is the time, please teach me, because I'm in serious trouble. Now we also have another word there which is called Vyudam. First, already we have been given the word Anikam. Anikam means army. Pandava Anikam. So Anikam means army. So why is it that again Vyudam is told? So from Duryodhana's perspective, the army looks enormous. It looks powerful. And that power is shown because of the formation of the army. Because of the formation of the army. As we say in modern language, because of the packaging or presentation. See, some products they look very nice and you go and take them. So in your house you are fed so many delicacies but you don't like. But sometimes you want to go to the Pizza Hut and eat pizza. Pizza Hut's to come always. So Pizza Hut, you go and you eat pizza. Why? Because the packaging is very attractive. You like that packaging and presentation. So similarly here, Vyudham, because of this formation itself, confuses and frightens Duryodhana. By seeing the formation itself, he is afraid. How many of you have seen Lagan? Oh, so many have not seen. Okay, please see. So in the Lagan, if you remember, the person comes to ball and comes in great speed and stands in one place and does like this. So that itself confuses the person, and he sees when is the ball going to come. And then he challenges that, and the umpire goes and reads all the rule books and finds that this is perfectly normal and nothing can be done about that. So like that, it is confusing. This whole thing is coming just like that Kushti Guru came with this kadai. So this fellow is confused. Now what is going to happen, this particular formation? That is why he is asking. Now, another reason of the fear of Duryodhana is who made this battle formation. It was done by Drishtadumna, who was the Senapati or the commander of Pandava army. So Drishtadumna was a great warrior, and he has made this battle formation. So when Duryodhana is going to battlefield, he has in his mind that he will see in front of the battle Bhima. Had Bhima been there in front of the battlefield or in the front of the army, Duryodhana would not have been so afraid. Why? Because he has constantly nurtured this hatred towards Pandava brothers. So not Bhima was not there. Neither Arjuna was there. None of the Pandava brothers, but this Drishtadumna came. And this was a great source of fear for Duryodhana. See, this was a great source of fear for Duryodhana. Now, what is battle formation? What is Vyuda? Battle formation. So this is one example of battle formation. So people stand like this. All of you have played chess. In fact, in chess, you can build different kinds of formations. So there are various names for every formation. You can build different formation and quite complicated also, which will not allow the other person to come in, etc., etc. It's like building a fort, etc., they call it. So you build a battle formation. Next. And this is another kind of battle formation. Of course, these are all kind of Roman Greek formations. So they all stand like this.
What is the person at the back doing?
He is the commander. Then next. This is a British army battle formation. It's an actual battle formation. Before a battle, this was the formation. And this is also another battle formation of British army. Now, battle formation need not be only of army, it can be also of air force or flight. Next. No. So this is a formation flight. This is, some kind of pigment is given to in the fuel of the jet, and they release this kind of color, tricolor. Usually it is done in Republic Day and like that. And this is a formation flight, not for showing, but actually formation flight. Next. In warships also you have formations. So this is again warships. So they are in attacking, actually they are going for an attack, and they are going in a formation. So this fellow also will attack from this side, this fellow will attack from this side, somebody will be there to cover. So most of you who are all familiar with Hollywood movies, they will do like this, then they will say like this, you go this side. Have you seen this? They will do like this, and this side, this side. So I saw in some Hindi movie, one person is doing like this, the other person is, इसका मतलब क्या है? मतलब मुझे क्या पता? पिक्चरों में दिखाया है. So anyway, next. So Duryodhana is afraid and asking Dronacharya, protection from the opposing army. He says, now I see that this army is not so small as I thought, or it is not so weak as I thought, so please protect me. And why Dronacharya? Because it is known that Dronacharya is the person who was a master of archery, or who started the branch of archery. Acha, here in the first place Duryodhana word is used, and then it is told Raja. Why? Why did not the shloka say Duryodhana there also? Or why did not it say he went there? Because Duryodhana name has already been given. Raja has been shown, that word has been used to show diplomacy. What is the diplomacy? Diplomatic. What is the diplomacy? Usually kings don't go to teachers. What is the rule of king behavior? Kings don't go to gurus. They call gurus and gurus come to king's court. That is the rule. Even monks, even acharyas, kings call them, they invite them. They don't go to ashramas. They call them, and the acharyas or sannyasis also, they will come from the ashrama to the court. That is the rule. But here the rule is not followed. Why? Because of diplomacy. Duryodhana is being diplomatic. He is himself going to the acharya. Instead of standing there and saying, hey, come here, because he is the king. But instead of that, he is going to the acharya. By that he is showing that I am in need of your help. That is the kind of request. When somebody goes, suppose you give a, invitation card. What is the previous slide? That is okay. Okay, next slide. You give an invitation card. Generally people expect you to go in person and give it. So that is considered very great. No, you go personally, you have given and gone and invited. So here comes the problem which has been regularly told by Swami Vivekananda and later on by Swami Ranganathananda. This is the coinage of Swami Ranganathananda. What is it called? Static piety. What is that? Now why I am telling you this diplomacy, no? Duryodhana is going to Dronacharya as a show of respect because he wants help from Dronacharya. Okay, let us go to some flashback. Same Duryodhana, when he was attending classes of Dronacharya, many times did not listen to what Dronacharya was saying. Duryodhana was not the best student of Dronacharya. Arjuna was. So Duryodhana is not exactly respecting Dronacharya, but he is just showing respect. So you go to a temple and what do? You do lot of puja, etc. Why? Because you have got your PhD title to defend, or you have got your PhD dissertation or viva, whatever. So that is why you go to a big temple and do big puja. So, or what do? You want to show to others that you are very religious. What do? You put a Rudraksha mala. It will cost you only 200 rupees or even less. I don't know. Depends on the quality. So one Rudraksha mala. Or you put one tilak, still cheaper. So you put one tilak and you become religious. Or you put some kind of dress. Or you say Ram Ram. You become religious. But this religious is what? It is static. It is not religiosity, it is piety. It is an appearance of being pious. But are you truly pious? No. Because you don't speak truth, you cheat others, you tell one thing, do one thing, etc., etc. The list is endless. So, you are not truly pious, but you have an appearance, a screensaver of piety. So, static piety. We don't need that. What do we need? Swami Ranganathanji says, we need dynamic spirituality. Spirituality which can be, you see, Pandavas did not go to any acharya. They were not afraid. They did not go anywhere. No, that's all. So last. So they did not go anywhere. They did not ask any questions. They were not afraid. Why? because their piety or piousness was inside them. They were confident of their being right. So they did not want any second opinion. Their belief system was not shaken. That is the thing. So what we need is dynamic spirituality, a spirituality which is living. So some people approached me in one place, in a function, and told me that Maharaj, our youngsters don't follow value systems. So immediately I asked, how many of you follow value systems? So you want youngsters to follow value systems, but how many of you live value systems? How many of you have value systems? None. They themselves accepted, no, we don't follow. So if you don't follow, just by giving somebody books or just by giving some theories or some philosophy, you cannot bring spirituality or piety or piousness in someone. What you need is dynamic spirituality, something which is living, something which is concrete, something which is palpable, something which is very, very vibrant. And then people don't need to be told, they will themselves follow. So that is the thing. So here in today's shloka we saw that Duryodhana has a fear because of his unrighteousness, Pandavas have no fear, but at the same time that there is a blindness on part of Dhritarashtra, that is emotionally blind to the suffering of others, and also he is emotionally blind to the true nature of his own sons. Do you have any questions?
You have to continue with.
No, it's over.
So this is about the criminals, crime and guilt. See the criminals when they commit crime, definitely under certain circumstances they are compelled to commit crime. So how this guilt comes, because he can always say that because of the...
Not all criminals are compelled to commit crimes.
Otherwise how should they commit?
No, not all criminals are compelled to commit crimes. That is why there is a whole branch of psychology called abnormal psychology. It's a huge branch. So not all people think in the same way, exactly. So some people, what do you call about these people who go on a shooting spree? They just go and start firing. So it's all psychopaths, sociopaths, etc. So the people have their own problems. So nobody is compelled to commit a crime unless it is a case of self-protection where the law does not punish you. If you have killed somebody in the course of protecting yourself, you have no punishment. Any other question? No question.
Now when this Gita was written, all these meanings were there? Or...
These meanings have been taken by the commentaries, Sanskrit commentaries of great acharyas like Shankaracharya. Of course, Shankaracharya has not commented here. Madhusudana Saraswati, Abhinava Gupta, and so many others. So many others. Anandagiri, etc. Any other question?
What I heard is basically the incorrigible criminals. They don't have that sense of guilt feeling. Because if they have that sense of guilt feeling, they will never commit that crime again and again.
No, criminals, not all criminals have guilt feelings, but criminals always have a feeling of having committed something which is out of the ordinary. So some people, it is very much guilt feeling, but for many people, they have this, you can call it curiosity, you can call it anything. They have this feeling that I have done something, and they are kind of looking out for the outcome. That is why they always monitor the scene of crime, because the criminal again comes there.
What I heard is basically they don't have that sense of being wrong. That is the reason.
Not all criminals, it's not true.
Like as you told me that some people are, in their defense they do the crime. Some people, as sir told me that they are compelled to do crime. But I am talking about incorrigible.
No, but you see, the thing which I told, Chor ki dadi mein tinka, it is, in the case of some criminals, guilty feeling. But most of the criminals, they have a feeling of kind of curiosity. That is what actually puts them in trouble. So this Duryodhana is also, he is also probably not having guilty feeling, because if he had, he would have surrendered to Krishna, he would have given 5 villages or something. But he is going to now get help from Dronacharya because he thinks something, it is like a backup solution let me have. Something may go wrong.
This crime and punishment, this is a fictional book or a memoir?
It's a fictional book, Fyodor Dostoevsky.
In Gita it is mentioned that there is rebirth and we have to suffer whatever we have done, if we have done any wrong things. But what is the proof? Is there anything which is called rebirth?
Now there have been lot of scientific studies on this, and if you want it in one place, there is a book, Religious and Spiritual Behavior. Religious Behavior and Spiritual Experience, published by Advaita Ashrama. It is available outside. So if you want, you can read the books. There has been lot of studies across the world conducted on this. And there is lot of evidence, empirical evidence, to prove that there is rebirth. But apart from this, I have a different way of looking at it. You see, we don't know what happens to us after we die. We are not just bodies. We have got some consciousness. We don't know what happens to us after we die. Or we also don't know what happens before our birth or what we were. In the same family, a brother and a sister have 2 different tendencies. So genetics does not explain it. Like in my family, I have not come across any instance of any person becoming a monk. But I have become a monk. And I am talking about some last 10 generations. So, I don't know. So that genetics doesn't work there. Also, when I say that I have done something wrong, if I say that there is no rebirth, then I am doomed. There is no way that I can correct my wrong. There is no hope for me. So the whole idea of rebirth, even if it is true, but hypothetically speaking, even if it is not true, is a great hope for a human being. Are you getting the point? Because whatever I do today or whatever I am today is because of what I have done in the past. That means whatever I will be tomorrow is in my hands. And that is a great hope to a human being. The moment you say there is no rebirth, this is the be all and end all, you remove that hope. And not only that, seeing the different tendencies in the same family. In fact, I have told this many times here, there is a custom in many traditions, many places, where a small child, in fact almost newborn baby, is given a plate full of different things. So there will be pen, there will be paper, there will be coin and all. And they see what that child will choose. And then most of the times it is seen that that is the tendency of the child. Like some people maybe in childhood they were, if some children are there, they will get some bit of paper and they don't know even speaking, they don't know how to talk, but they will like that they will read. And later on it does happen that that person has become a bookworm or something like that. So how do you explain this? If you don't have something like rebirth, it cannot be explained. Genetics has till date not explained. There is only one concept called atavism, where a trait which is not manifest in one generation. For example, a trait was there in my grandfather and I have got the trait. My parents have not got the trait. So that also explains only for few generations. But how do I explain something which is not found in any generation at all and suddenly somebody gets? So this is at the same time both logical and also it gives lot of hope. But if you are interested in the empirical evidence, it is there. Like in Mahatma Gandhi also, he constituted a big committee. There was a person called Shakuntala Devi or something, not that supercomputer person, no. There's a different Shakuntala Devi, Shanti Devi or something. And he made a committee of great people. Government of India made it and they conducted a study and this woman, and then they all proved that, yes, she is a person who has reborn. So there has been, and there is this person called Edgar Casey who has written a book called Many Mansions, and he also has done a lot of empirical evidence he has got. In fact, he founded a foundation called Edgar Cayce Foundation, and there they have the documented history or empirical evidence of who was who in the previous birth. Having said so, recently we find that there is a psychological practice, psychoanalytical practice called past life regression therapy. So it is just a psychoanalytical practice, it has got nothing, no fact behind it. So if you just come to somebody's chamber and somebody can just tell you that you were so and so in the last birth and fourth birth and all that, 4 births before that, it is absolutely nonsense. But it is a very good psychoanalytical technique, because many times patients don't want to open up to the psychoanalyst. So this they use as a tool to make the patient open up. Any other question? Yes.
The nature of a person, or the tendencies of a person, what is the source of it? What is the reason of it?
So whatever you do now, you're talking to me, whatever action we do, that leaves a mark in our mind, and that makes the tendency for my future action. So if you eat pizza, next time you see pizza you will want to eat it more. A person who has not eaten pizza will not want that much. The more and more you eat, the more and more the tendency will become stronger. So you see, all the tendencies people have for watching serials and playing games is because of this. The more and more you do, the impression becomes stronger. So another method of improving or redefining your character is keep on doing things which you think are better, good, and keep on avoiding things which are bad. So automatically your character becomes good. Swami Vivekananda says that a person who keeps on doing bad things kind of attracts bad things, because he has developed such a strong tendency to do evil things. That is what we see. A person who is doing bad things will always end up in bad situations, because the tendency is so strong. And similarly, a person who is doing good things will always end up in good situations. So whatever you, that is how tendencies are created. Whatever you do, even a small thing, will make a mark on your personality. Any other question? No questions?
That is apart from this. That is see that in our world, that is in Kachami, that is what is called Kachami.
Unripe ego.
So one is consciousness, which doesn't need food, doesn't feel hunger, doesn't thirst. And there is another thing like your body, which needs food, which experiences pain. But then how come this together becomes one?
That is a very phenomenal question and nobody has answered it. Advaita Vedanta will say that I have no answer to this question and I am not bothered about the answer. How did the snake or rope become the snake is not the question. I know that it has happened because of ignorance.
Yeah. No, my question is that why should we say that both of different attributes, why should we say that it becomes same?
No, actually they are not different attributes. We see consciousness as matter. There is no body. There is only consciousness. We see it as body. In the example, that is why classical example is very useful. There is no snake. There is only rope and there is dark room. And because of the darkness you saw the rope and mistook it to be snake. That is why we say, when we say the world is unreal, people immediately ask, oh, you are saying world is unreal, but how does it feel so real? It feels real because it is real, not as this world, but as consciousness. So in the case of that rope, you see a snake, you try to put carbolic acid and drive away the snake, it will not go because it is not a snake, it is a rope.
Yes, but after knowing the rope, that snake personality is not there.
No.
Even for the God realized people, hunger is there.
That is you are perceiving as hunger. The person does not have got any hunger. You see, hunger for me is an existential need. Like if you don't feed me, I will die. Now this, you don't need to go to God realization. Even a person who is, suppose a person is interested in music, okay, it's a higher pursuit than this body, okay. So it is part of body only, but as many people will say, ear is one of the subtlest senses and touch is grossest. So a person is, that is why to follow Hindustani music and all, it is very difficult. So a person is doing practice, riyaz, for hours together. Person is not bothered about water, food, anything. A person is reading book or doing some experiments, not bothered. How? That person also has body. Because the identification with something higher than the body immediately makes the person oblivious or indifferent to the physical dimension of a personality. So it is, so when a person becomes, gets the realization of the ultimate truth, that everything is consciousness, then the person may eat, but the need for eating is not so strong or intense as we have. Any other questions? Yes.
It was heard that Lord Buddha has seen his previous births through meditation. Is it correct?
Which what?
Lord Buddha.
Lord Buddha saw all his previous births, yes.
So is it possible to see that?
Yeah, it is possible. The Lord Buddha, has he seen previous births? Yes, he saw all his previous births. And it is possible to see previous births. But that is a very advanced stage of yoga. And whenever we say advanced stage, all of us think that, oh, that is easy for me. For other people, it is difficult. So please don't try visualizing your past births, because you may end up in a lunatic asylum. Huh? Don't try that. So first you try to calm your mind, control your senses. First you try to do that. First try to speak truth, control anger, and if you are able to do that, then go to next step, etc. But yes, our texts like Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it is clearly said, and the person is called Jati Smara, means a person who can remember all the past births. Any other question?
Regarding rebirth, I can say one example. Many of the children and all that, they can remember, it has been put in certain movies, and all that, by listening to those children, they meditate and they found that whatever the children are saying is correct.
No, I have only one question. How do you prove something in a movie?
No, that they are not doing in a movie.
It has been shown in a movie.
Because things are existing, that's why it is shown.
That's right. But that cannot be taken as an empirical evidence. Now you can go through that book, Religious Behavior and Spiritual Experience, and also you can do a Googlaya Namaha on Edgar Cayce. You will get Edgar Cayce is EDGAR and CAYCE. But one thing which I personally believe is, why bother about my rebirth and all that? This very birth is very difficult to handle. So first let me bother about this birth. Any other questions?
Because the rebirth affects the present life.
Any other question? Okay. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat.